South Africa has just received an order from Zimbabwe. South Africa has just received an order from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is telling all its citizens who are in South Africa to come back home. They can hire buses for them from Johannesburg or Pretoria to Harare and other cities in Zimbabwe. This comes after a lot of Zimbabweans were affected by the recent xenophobic attacks that happened in the country, but this is not the main reason why Zimbabwe is calling all its citizens who are in South Africa to come back home. There is another secret reason behind this, which we're going to discuss in this video. Welcome to this channel. It's time to expose everything. Let's get into it. The government of Zimbabwe is working around the clock to make sure that it brings back all its citizens who are currently living and working in South Africa, according to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Frederick Shava. Zimbabweans in South Africa who want to come home will be assisted with transport. The government of Zimbabwe will organize buses from Johannesburg and Pretoria to bring them back home. Minister Chava said, "We have noted with interest the plight of our citizens who wish to return home after being affected by the recent civil unrest in some parts of South Africa. In this regard, the ministry is working with the Zimbabwean embassy in Pretoria to establish the number of those who wish to return home so that the government can make the necessary arrangements." He further said, "We want to bring them back home and they will be coming back voluntarily. Those who want to come back home, we are making sure that we facilitate their return. They won't be paying anything. We are hiring buses to bring them back home," he said. This comes after over 1,500 Zimbabweans were recently deported from South Africa. Many of these people had no documentation, but some of them had valid work permits and were contributing to the South African economy. However, when the xenophobic attacks started, they were also targeted. When South Africa started burning, they had to flee their homes and businesses to save their lives. They were arrested and then deported to Zimbabwe. Now the Zimbabwean government is saying they should come back home. Some of these people may not even have anywhere to go, and now the government of Zimbabwe is forcing them to leave South Africa and come back home. But there is a secret reason why the government of Zimbabwe is calling its citizens from South Africa to come back home. The current president of Zimbabwe, Emmerson Mnangagwa, is very sick. He recently traveled to China for medical treatment, and according to reports, he was seriously sick and almost died in China. That is why his health has been deteriorating since last year. This led to rumors that he may resign soon. There are also rumors that he may die soon and his vice president, Constantino Chiwenga, will take over as the president of Zimbabwe. Zimbabweans are now being told to come back home because there are some dark things that are happening in the country and they need to be part of it. As we speak, Zimbabwe is facing serious economic challenges. People are struggling to buy basic commodities like food and fuel. The currency is also depreciating every day and the future looks very bleak. So what does the government of Zimbabwe expect these people to come back to? These people left Zimbabwe because they wanted better lives for themselves and their families. They were tired of the suffering in Zimbabwe and decided to go to South Africa where they could earn better salaries, live better lives, and send money back home to help their families. Some of them have been in South Africa for more than 10 years. They built houses and businesses there and have families there. Now the government of Zimbabwe is just calling them like that to come back home. How do you expect them to leave everything they've worked for in South Africa and come back to a country that has nothing to offer them? This is one of the reasons why South Africans are angry with the government of Zimbabwe. They think that Zimbabweans are being treated like foreigners in their own country. This is why some South Africans are against the idea of a united Zimbabwe and South Africa. They don't want a situation where Zimbabweans will come to South Africa and become citizens of South Africa while there are South Africans in Zimbabwe who are not being treated fairly. As if the xenophobic attacks and the current economic crisis was not enough, Zimbabweans are now being told to come back home because there is a looming fuel crisis in the country. The government of Zimbabwe is failing to import fuel because it doesn't have enough foreign currency. This means that there may soon be no fuel in the country. Already, there are long queues of cars at service stations as people are trying to fill up before the country runs out of fuel. This is a worrying trend because it may lead to chaos in the country. People may become violent and start looting. The government of Zimbabwe knows this, which is why it is trying to bring back its citizens who are in South Africa. They know that there will be chaos and violence in the country and they want their citizens to be part of it. They want them to loot and destroy the little that is left in the country. It is also believed that the government of Zimbabwe is bringing back its citizens who are in South Africa because it wants to use them as soldiers. Zimbabwe is currently facing a lot of problems, and the army is not enough to deal with all these problems. There are a lot of protests and people are becoming violent. The government needs more soldiers to maintain law and order in the country. This is why it is bringing back Zimbabweans who are in South Africa to fight in the army. These people are being promised land and money if they agree to join the army. The government of Zimbabwe is desperate and will do anything to stay in power, even if it means using its own citizens as soldiers. Another reason why the government of Zimbabwe is calling its citizens who are in South Africa to come back home is because it wants to use them to vote for ZANU-PF in the upcoming elections. The ruling party in Zimbabwe, ZANU-PF, is worried that it may lose the elections. This is because the people of Zimbabwe are not happy with how the country is being run. There is a lot of poverty and unemployment, and the future looks very bleak. The ZANU-PF is worried that opposition parties will win the elections, which is why it is trying to rig the elections. They want their citizens who are in South Africa to come back home so that they can vote for ZANU-PF. These people will be given special passes that will allow them to vote in the elections. The ZANU-PF is desperate and will do anything to stay in power, even if it means rigging the elections. In conclusion, the government of Zimbabwe is calling its citizens who are in South Africa to come back home because of a number of reasons. The main reason is that the government of Zimbabwe is afraid of losing power. They are afraid of the people of Zimbabwe voting for opposition parties in the upcoming elections. This is why they are trying to rig the elections by bringing back Zimbabweans who are in South Africa to vote for them. Other reasons include the fact that the government of Zimbabwe is desperate for foreign currency, and they believe that Zimbabweans in South Africa can help them with that. They also believe that Zimbabweans in South Africa can help them to maintain law and order in the country, as the country is currently facing a lot of problems and the army is not enough. Lastly, the government of Zimbabwe is afraid of losing its citizens to South Africa. They are afraid that South Africa will give citizenship to Zimbabweans who are in South Africa, and this will reduce the number of people who will vote for them in the upcoming elections. What are your thoughts on this matter? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on the latest news. Also, please like and share this video so that more people can watch it. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe.